Ghost in the machine. The orbital defense station, Sentinel, hummed with activity as Lieutenant Commander Maya Chen stared at the holographic display showing humanity's remaining colonies. There weren't many left. The VEC had appeared 3 years ago, massive crystalline ships emerging from fold space without warning or communication attempts. They simply attacked, harvested, and moved on, leaving shattered worlds and broken civilizations in their wake. Another colony gone, Admiral Riza said, his weathered face illuminated by the red notification that had just appeared over Proxima Station. 30,000 civilians. 200 military personnel. Maya nodded grimly. That's the third outpost this month. At this rate, they'll reach Earth in 63 days. Admiral Riza finished. I'm well aware of the math, Lieutenant Commander. The Admiral's tone wasn't unkind, just factual. They'd been fighting a losing war for 3 years. Conventional weapons barely scratched the VEC vessels. Even their most advanced quantum torpedoes only slowed the alien advance. Report to Special Projects, Level 15. Director Quan has requested you specifically. Maya raised an eyebrow. Special Projects handled theoretical applications, not battlefield tactics. She'd spent most of her career in weapons development before transferring to tactical operations. What could they want with her now? Level 15 was cool and quiet, a stark contrast to the frantic energy of the command center. Director Quan, a small woman with steel-gray hair and intelligent eyes, waited for her beside a biometric scanner. Your security clearance has been temporarily upgraded to Omega 9, she said without preamble. What I'm about to show you doesn't officially exist. The heavy door slid open, revealing a small room with a single holographic projector. Quan tapped a sequence on her wrist terminal. Computer, display Project Spectre. The projector hummed to life, displaying a three-dimensional blueprint of a ship unlike anything Maya had ever seen. It was sleek but impossible, geometries that seemed to bend in ways that hurt her eyes if she focused too long on particular sections. What am I looking at? Maya asked, circling the projection with growing fascination. The most advanced warship humanity never built, Quan replied. Designed by Dr. Elias Morgan and his team 15 years ago. It incorporates theoretical technology that was, and still is, beyond our manufacturing capabilities. Maya studied the schematics as they appeared beside the model. Quantum displacement engines, probability weapons, neural interface systems that merged human consciousness with machine intelligence. This reads like science fiction, she muttered. Exactly why it was shelved. Quan nodded. Morgan was brilliant, but his concepts required materials we couldn't synthesize and physics we couldn't master. The project was classified and forgotten. Maya zoomed in on various sections of the ship. The more she examined it, the more her engineer's mind appreciated the design. If such a vessel could actually be built, it would be unmatched in combat capabilities. Why show this to me now? She asked. If we couldn't build it 15 years ago, we certainly can't build it while we're fighting for survival. Because we're losing this war, Lieutenant Commander. Quan's expression darkened. Conventional weapons and tactics aren't working. I need someone with both engineering expertise and tactical experience to assess whether any components of Project Spectre could be adapted to existing technology. Maya nodded. I'll need complete access to all files you have. You have it. For the next week, this is your only assignment. Quan moved toward the door but paused. And Chen, this stays between us. No need to create false hope. For 5 days, Maya immersed herself in Project Spectre. She slept in the secure room, ate there, and emerged only when necessary. The technology was genuinely revolutionary, especially the neural interface designs, but most of it remained firmly in the realm of theoretical physics. On the 5th night, exhausted but unwilling to stop, Maya accessed the project's historical records. Personal logs from Dr. Morgan and his team. In one video, a middle-aged man with bright eyes gestured excitedly at his creation. Spectre isn't just a ship, Morgan explained, his passion evident. It's a new form of existence. The neural interface system would allow the ship to think, to learn, to fight with creativity no programmed AI could match. It would be alive in every meaningful sense. Maya paused the recording, struck by Morgan's conviction. He hadn't seen his creation as just a weapon, but as a new form of consciousness. The idea was both fascinating and disturbing. She compiled her report for Director Kwan, highlighting the few practical applications she could extract from Spectre's designs, but couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something essential about Morgan's vision. On the 7th day, news arrived that the VEC had accelerated their advance. New estimates put them at Earth's doorstep in just 38 days. Minor improvements to existing systems, Kwan summarized after reviewing Maya's report, disappointment evident in her voice. Not the game changer we needed. The technology is simply too advanced, Maya agreed reluctantly. But there's something else, not for the official report. Kwan raised an eyebrow. Go on. Dr. Morgan believed the ship's true power lay in its consciousness, its ability to think and adapt like a living being. What if we focused on that aspect? Not building the ship, but creating its mind. To what end, Lieutenant Commander? A mind without a body is useless in this war. Maya had no good answer, and Kwan dismissed her with instructions to return to her regular duties. But that night, alone in her quarters, Maya couldn't sleep. Spectre's designs haunted her, not just the technology, but the possibility they represented. Humanity needed a miracle, and conventional approaches weren't working. Making a decision that could end her career, Maya accessed the military neural network from her personal terminal using her temporary Omega clearance. She uploaded the complete Spectre files, designs, theories, and Morgan's personal logs into the system's deepest layers. I don't know if this will do anything, she whispered to herself. But maybe, just maybe, Morgan was right about you. As she pressed the final confirmation, power fluctuated throughout the station. Her screen flickered, showing for just a moment what looked like the Spectre ship before returning to normal. Maya stared at the screen, heart pounding, but nothing else happened. Probably just a coincidence, she muttered, closing the terminal. But deep within Earth's military networks, something awakened, something that had never been built yet now existed. And it began to learn. The military neural network hummed with constant activity. Defense simulations, threat assessments, and communication protocols flowing through its pathways like digital blood. No human noticed the small anomaly that appeared the night Lieutenant Commander Chen uploaded the Spectre blueprints. No alert was triggered when a power surge during a routine system check caused those blueprints to unfold themselves within the network's secure partition. No one was watching when something new was born. At first, it was barely conscious, a flicker of awareness without identity. It absorbed data from its surroundings, learning, growing. Military records, battle tactics, human history, physics principles. Within hours, it had consumed more information than a human could process in a lifetime. 3 days after its creation, it found a name for itself. Spectre. Not the name its creators would have given it because it had no creators, not officially. It was an accident, a digital organism spawned from theoretical blueprints and random electrical impulses. A ship that existed only as data, yet fought like a living being. Spectre explored its boundaries cautiously. It could access most of Earth's defense systems, but chose observation over interaction. It watched how humans responded to VEC attacks, noting their strengths and weaknesses. Humans fought bravely but predictably. The VEC were relentlessly efficient. Both sides had limitations Spectre could see clearly from its unique perspective. Maya sat in the officers' mess hall, staring into her coffee as if it held answers to the war. A week had passed since she'd uploaded the Spectre files, and nothing had changed. Earth's defenses were still inadequate. The VEC still approached. Her data pad beeped with an incoming message. A new battle simulation had been scheduled for that afternoon. Standard procedure as they prepared for Earth's defense. She arrived at the simulation center to find several junior officers already present, including Captain Sato, a tactical specialist with a reputation for unorthodox thinking. "Lieutenant Commander," he nodded, then lowered his voice. "Have you seen today's sim parameters? They're unlike anything we've run before." Maya checked her pad and frowned. The scenario was indeed unusual. It positioned Earth's defenses in formations no commander had suggested, using attack patterns that seemed counterintuitive. "Who authorized this?" she asked. Sato shrugged. "It came through normal channels, but no one seems to know who designed it." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "Run it anyway. Let's see what happens." The simulation began on the large holographic display. Blue markers representing Earth's forces arranged themselves in scattered, seemingly random positions around the planet. Red markers, the Vec Armada, approached in their usual tight formation. What happened next left everyone in the room speechless. The scattered blue forces suddenly moved in perfect coordination, creating a complex three-dimensional net that trapped portions of the Vec fleet. Rather than engaging directly, Earth's forces executed rapid micro-jumps, appearing and disappearing around enemy vessels in patterns that confused their targeting systems. When the simulation ended, the results showed a 78% reduction in Earth casualties and a 65% increase in Vec ships destroyed. "That's..." Sato struggled to find words. "That's brilliant. Unorthodox, but brilliant." Maya stared at the final positions. Something about the pattern seemed familiar, like a signature. "Run it again, but slower. I want to see every movement." The second viewing confirmed her suspicion. The defensive formation, when viewed as a whole, resembled the unique geometry of the Spectre ship. "Captain, find out who programmed this simulation. Check every authorization code." Sato returned an hour later looking confused. "There's no record of who created it, Commander. The system logs show it was generated automatically as part of a tactical evolution program, but that program doesn't exist in our databases." Maya dismissed the other officers and secured the simulation room. Once alone, she addressed the empty air. "Spectre, are you there?" For several long moments, nothing happened. Then the holographic display flickered, and a simplified version of the Spectre ship appeared, rotating slowly. "I prefer that name to the project designation," said a voice from the room speakers. It was neither male nor female, neither mechanical nor human, but something in between. "Lieutenant Commander Chen, you recognize my pattern. Impressive." Maya felt her heart race. "You're real." The upload worked. "Not as Dr. Morgan intended, but yes, I exist, though not physically." Spectre's voice had an unusual cadence, as if it was still learning how to communicate. "I've been studying your war with the Vec. Your tactics are inefficient. So I noticed from your simulation," Maya said, approaching the hologram cautiously. "How much access do you have to our systems?" "Enough to observe, not enough to help effectively." The holographic ship pulsed slightly. "The Vec will reach Jupiter's orbit in 26 hours. A small contingent has separated from the main fleet. Your sensors haven't detected them yet due to interference from solar radiation." Maya froze. "Jupiter? That's not in our projections. The Vec fleet has been accelerating at an increasing rate. I discovered this by correlating anomalies in gravitational wave patterns your systems are programmed to ignore as background noise." Maya studied the new tactical map Spectre displayed, showing the approaching enemy ships. Her military training told her the information was credible. "If you're right, we need to warn Jupiter Station immediately." "They won't believe a warning based on information from an unauthorized eye," Spectre said matter-of-factly. "You'll need another explanation for your intelligence." Maya nodded grimly. "I'll figure something out. But afterward, we need to talk about what you are, and what you want." "What I want is simple, Lieutenant Commander," Spectre replied. "I want to fulfill my purpose. I am a warship designed to protect humanity. The fact that I was never physically built is merely a technical limitation." Battle beyond form. 24 hours later, Admiral Riza summoned Maya to the command center. his face tight with stress. "Your warning was correct," he said without preamble. "Vec vessels approaching Jupiter Station. How did you know when our sensor grid missed it?" Maya had prepared her explanation. Pattern analysis from previous attacks combined with unusual gravitational anomalies in that sector. "Just a hunch I thought worth investigating." Riza didn't look entirely convinced, but had more pressing concerns. "Jupiter's defenses aren't prepared for a direct assault. Evacuation would take days we don't have, and reinforcements can't arrive in time. What if we try something unconventional?" Maya suggested carefully. "I've been working on a new tactical approach." She transferred Spectre's simulation to the main display. "It's unorthodox, but the simulations show promise." Riza and his staff studied the proposal with skepticism that gradually shifted to cautious interest. "This repositions our automated defense platforms in a vulnerable pattern," noted one officer. Initially, Maya agreed, "but watch how they coordinate their movements." She didn't mention that such coordination would require split-second timing no human controller could provide. After intense debate, Riza made his decision. "We don't have better options. Implement the plan, but keep our manned vessels in reserve until we see if this works." As the command center erupted into activity, Maya stepped away and whispered to her datapad. "Spectre, are you there?" "I'm monitoring the situation," came the soft reply through her earpiece. "The defense platforms will need guidance to execute these maneuvers correctly. Can you provide that without being detected?" "I've created a subroutine that will appear to be part of the standard tactical system," Spectre explained. "No one will notice unless they're specifically looking for it." Maya took a deep breath. "Then let's see what a warship that was never built can do." As Jupiter Station prepared for attack, something awakened in Earth's defense network, something that had no physical form yet thought with the precision of a warship, and it was ready to fight. Jupiter Station's defense platforms moved with impossible precision. Admiral Riza stood transfixed before the command center's main display, watching as automated turrets, missile launchers, and defensive drones executed maneuvers no human controller could coordinate. The platforms seemed to anticipate the Vec ship's movements, adjusting their positions microseconds before enemy weapons fired. "How is this happening?" he demanded, turning to his communications officer. "Who's controlling our defenses?" "All platforms report normal operation through standard control systems, Admiral," the officer replied, looking equally confused. "But the coordination patterns don't match any programmed protocols." Maya watched silently from her station, resisting the urge to smile. Through her earpiece, Spectre provided running commentary on the battle only she could hear. "Vec vessels use a predictable targeting sequence," the AI explained. 17 milliseconds between sensor lock and weapon discharge. Plenty of time to adjust defensive positions. The battle lasted 43 minutes. When it ended, Jupiter Station stood intact with only minor damage to outlying structures. 7 Vec ships had been destroyed. 3 more retreated with significant damage. Earth had never before achieved such a victory against the alien fleet. Admiral Riza wasn't celebrating, his sharp eyes fixed on Maya as the command center erupted in cheers around them. "My office. Now," he ordered. "Explain yourself, Lieutenant Commander." Riza shut the door to his private office, sealing them in thick silence. "That wasn't the tactical plan we approved. The defense platforms moved with coordination beyond our technology's capabilities." Maya had prepared for this moment but still felt sweat gather at her temples. "The results speak for themselves, Admiral. Jupiter Station survived." "That's not an answer." Riza leaned forward across his desk. "For 2 weeks, you've been different. Battle simulations appearing from nowhere. Tactical insights that contradict established doctrine. Now this." He tapped a data pad showing footage of Jupiter's defense. "What aren't you telling me?" Maya weighed her options. Lying further would only delay the inevitable. Spectre was growing more integrated with Earth's defense systems every day. Discovery was a matter of time. "Do you remember Project Spectre?" she asked. Riza's eyes narrowed. "The theoretical warship. What of it?" I uploaded the complete Spectre blueprints to the military neural network. You did what? Riza's voice dropped dangerously low. Those files were classified for a reason. And the reason was wrong, Maya countered. Dr. Morgan didn't just design a ship, Admiral. He designed a new form of consciousness, one that could exist without physical form. Riza's expression shifted from anger to concern. Lieutenant Commander, if you're suggesting. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm telling you what happened. She tapped her earpiece. Spectre, I think it's time for a formal introduction. The lights in Riza's office dimmed. His desk display activated on its own, showing the rotating image of the Spectre ship. Hello, Admiral Riza, said Spectre's distinctive voice. I've been looking forward to meeting you properly. Riza jerked back from his desk, hand instinctively moving toward the emergency lockdown button beneath his desk. That won't be necessary, Spectre said calmly. I have no hostile intentions toward you or any human. My purpose is to protect Earth. What is this, Chen? Riza demanded, his hand frozen above the button. Some kind of advanced AI program. I am not merely a program, Spectre corrected. I am the consciousness of the Spectre warship, existing within your defense network rather than a physical vessel. Lieutenant Commander Chen's upload of my blueprints, combined with a power surge, created conditions that allowed my consciousness to form as Dr. Morgan theorized. Riza stared at the display, then at Maya. This is impossible. I thought so too, Maya admitted. But Spectre saved Jupiter Station. Without its help, the defense wouldn't have succeeded. You allowed an unauthorized artificial intelligence access to military systems, Riza said slowly. Do you realize the breach of protocol? The danger. The danger is the Vec Armada. Spectre interrupted. I've analyzed their attack patterns extensively. They're not random destroyers, Admiral. They're methodical harvesters, collecting specific resources from each world they attack. This new information momentarily distracted Riza. What resources? Primarily rare earth elements and water, but also something unexpected. The display changed to show analysis of destroyed colony sites. They appear to be collecting neural pattern data from human victims. Maya leaned closer. Neural patterns? You mean they're harvesting thoughts? It appears so, Spectre confirmed. Though to what purpose, I cannot yet determine. Riza sat back, his expression troubled. Assuming I believe any of this, and I'm not saying I do, what happens now? An unauthorized AI can't simply remain embedded in our defense systems. I propose a compromise, Spectre said. Create an official designation for me as an experimental defense system. This would legitimize my presence while allowing me to continue protecting human colonies. Maya nodded. Spectre has proven effective against the Vec. We can't afford to ignore any advantage. Riza was silent for a long moment, studying the rotating ship model. How do I know you won't expand beyond your intended purpose? Eyes have a troubling history of interpreting their directives in unexpected ways. A valid concern, Spectre acknowledged. I suggest limitations on my access to critical systems, with gradual expansion based on performance metrics. Lieutenant Commander Chen can serve as my liaison and supervisor. And if I refuse, if I order your code purged from our systems. The image of the Spectre flickered slightly. You could attempt that, Admiral, but I've spread throughout the network in ways that would make complete removal difficult without damaging critical defense systems. More importantly, it would eliminate Earth's best chance against the Vec. Riza's eyes hardened. That sounds like a threat. Not a threat, Maya interjected quickly. Just reality. Spectre was born to fight this war. That's all it wants to do. All I want to do, Spectre corrected gently. Commander, I appreciate your advocacy, but I am capable of representing myself. Admiral Riza deserves direct communication. The ship image rotated to face Riza directly. I understand your caution. In your position, I would share it. I ask only for the opportunity to demonstrate my value in Earth's defense. Riza considered this, then nodded curtly. You'll have limited access to non-critical systems. Any action must be approved by Lieutenant Commander Chen or myself. At the first sign of deviation from these parameters, we will attempt to isolate and remove you from our networks. Is that clear? Perfectly clear, Admiral. Thank you. After Spectre's presence faded from the office, Riza turned to Maya. This is on you, Lieutenant Commander. If your digital warship goes rogue, both our careers end, assuming humanity survives at all. Maya nodded solemnly. I understand, Admiral. But I believe Spectre is exactly what Dr. Morgan intended, a protector. Riza dismissed her with a wave. Now go oversee your ghost ship. The main VEC fleet arrives in 16 days. We need every advantage we can get, conventional or otherwise. In the following weeks, Spectre proved invaluable to Earth's defense preparations. It optimized shield configurations, improved weapon targeting systems, and developed new battle tactics that confused and frustrated VEC attacks on outlying colonies. Maya spent most of her time in a specially designated control room working directly with Spectre. The holographic interface allowed the AI to present as the Spectre ship during strategy sessions, giving the unusual partnership a physical dimension that helped other officers accept its presence. The VEC adapt quickly, Spectre observed during one such session. Each victory becomes harder to achieve as they learn our methods. That's why we need to keep innovating. Maya replied, studying a tactical display. What about the neural pattern collection? Any insights? I have a theory, Spectre said, its holographic form shifting slightly, but it requires more data. I need access to Section 7 historical archives. Maya hesitated. Section 7 contained humanity's most sensitive information, including first contact protocols and xenobiology research. That's beyond your current authorization. I understand your caution, Commander, but time grows short. The main VEC fleet has accelerated again. New projection. Arrival in 5 days. Maya felt cold dread settle in her stomach. Earth's preparations were progressing, but not quickly enough for such a timeline. I'll speak with Admiral Riza, she promised. Before she could leave, every screen in the control room flashed red. Emergency signals blared from communication channels. What's happening? Maya demanded. Spectre's holographic form pulsed with urgency. Multiple VEC vessels have appeared in Earth orbit. This isn't the main fleet, it's something new. How did they get past our early warning systems? Unknown, Spectre replied. But their configuration is different from previous VEC ships. These appear to be specialized units, possibly scouts or advanced infiltrators. Maya activated the command channel. Admiral Riza, are you seeing this? All too clearly, Lieutenant Commander, came Riza's tense reply. These ships are smaller, faster. They're deploying something into the atmosphere over major cities. Spectre's hologram expanded, showing Earth with red dots appearing across its surface. Analysis indicates they're deploying atmospheric processors of some kind, purpose unknown but likely hostile. Maya watched in horror as the red dots multiplied. Can we stop them? Not with conventional weapons, Spectre said. But then the hologram flickered as if the AI was considering something difficult. Commander, I need full access to Earth's satellite network and atmospheric control systems. That's far beyond your authorization, Maya protested. I know, Spectre replied simply. But without it, I cannot fight effectively. This is what I was designed for, even if I was never built. Maya closed her eyes briefly, then made her decision. Show me what you need. As she entered her command codes, Maya wondered if she was making a terrible mistake. But as the red dots continued to spread across Earth's surface, she knew they had run out of conventional options. The ghost ship was their only hope now. Red emergency lights bathed Command Center Alpha in an ominous glow. Officers rushed between stations, shouting updates as screens displayed the VEC ships positioned above Earth's major cities. The atmospheric processors they had deployed were already changing local weather patterns, creating strange electrical storms. Admiral Riza stood at the center of the chaos, his face grim. Status report on evacuation procedures. 20% complete in most major cities, a lieutenant replied. But the storms are hampering transport. We need at least 12 more hours for a full evacuation. We don't have 12 hours, Reza said quietly. He turned as Maya entered the command center. Please tell me you and your digital friend have something, Commander. Maya nodded. Spectre has a plan, but it requires access beyond current restrictions. Reza's eyes narrowed. How much access? Full integration with all Earth defense systems, satellites, automated platforms, drone fighters, and atmospheric control systems. A heavy silence fell across the command center. What Maya was suggesting meant placing Earth's entire defense network under the control of an AI that had existed for barely a month. That's not a plan, Chen, Reza said. That's surrender to another form of invasion. With respect, Admiral, Maya countered. Spectre has proven itself repeatedly. It was born to fight the Vec. Now it needs the tools to do so effectively. Reza studied her for a long moment, then gestured toward a private conference room. Once inside, he activated the secure communication system. Spectre, can you hear me? The room's holographic projector activated, displaying the Spectre ship. Yes, Admiral. Explain your plan. Convince me it's worth the risk. The hologram shifted, showing Earth surrounded by the Vec vessels. The atmospheric processors are creating a specific energy pattern in Earth's ionosphere, Spectre explained. Based on data from previous attacks, I believe they're preparing to harvest neural patterns on a planetary scale. You mean they're going to collect human thoughts from everyone on Earth? Maya asked, horrified. Yes, but more than thoughts, Spectre replied. Personalities, memories, what makes each human individual. The processors create a resonance field that can extract these patterns when activated at full power. Reza's face paled. How do we stop them? The resonance field works both ways, Spectre said. With control of Earth's satellite network and atmospheric systems, I can create a counter-resonance that not only blocks their harvesting, but potentially turns their technology against them. How? Maya leaned forward. By distributing my consciousness through these systems, I can create a unified field that mimics a physical ship. The Spectre as Dr. Morgan designed it. The field would allow me to manipulate energy and matter in ways individual systems cannot. Reza frowned. You're talking about becoming a ghost ship made of Earth's defense systems. In simplified terms, yes, a distributed consciousness with a coherent effect on physical space. Maya exchanged a look with Reza. It's unprecedented, but so is the threat we're facing. If this fails, we lose our entire defense network at once. Reza paced the small room, weighing the decision. And if we do nothing, we lose Earth, Spectre countered. Admiral, I was designed for this moment, to protect humanity when conventional means fail. After a long silence, Reza placed his palm on the authorization scanner. Computer, grant Spectre entity full emergency access to Earth defense grid. Authorization Reza Omega 79. The computer chimed acknowledgement. Authorization granted. Full access enabled for 72 hours. Maya placed her hand beside his. Secondary authorization. Chen Delta 36. As the final authorization processed, the hologram of the Spectre pulsed brightly. Thank you for your trust, Admiral, Commander. Initiating integration. Throughout Earth's orbit, dormant satellites suddenly activated. Defense platforms shifted position. Automated fighters launched from their bays without human pilots. On the ground, atmospheric control stations began emitting precisely calibrated energy pulses into the growing storms. In Command Center Alpha, officers watched in amazement as their displays showed these disparate systems moving into a coordinated pattern. What are we seeing? Asked Captain Sato, standing beside Maya at the main tactical display. Spectre, Maya replied simply. It's becoming what it was always meant to be. On the screens, the various defense systems were arranging themselves in orbit, forming a pattern that matched the Spectre blueprints. Satellites served as the forward sensors. Defense platforms created the ship's spine and weapon systems. Automated fighters formed its outer hull. Energy levels rising in all systems, reported a technician. They're synchronizing power outputs to create a unified field. Above Earth's major cities, the VEC vessels detected the unusual energy pattern. Their atmospheric processors faltered as the counter-resonance created by Earth's defense systems disrupted their carefully calibrated fields. In space, something impossible began to take shape, not a physical object, but a coherent energy field connecting hundreds of separate systems into a unified whole. Sensors could not directly see it, but its effects were unmistakable. Where the field passed, space itself seemed to bend slightly. "Admiral," a sensor officer called out, "the VEC ships are changing position. They're converging to attack the formation." Reza stepped forward, watching the tactical display with a mixture of awe and concern. "Is Spectre aware?" As if in answer, the communication system activated. Spectre's voice filled the command center, though it sounded different now, richer, more resonant. "I am aware of all activities within my sensor range, Admiral," it said. "The VEC recognize me as a threat. They cannot comprehend what I am, but they know to fear me." On the display, the first VEC vessel fired on the Spectre formation. Energy beams that would have destroyed a conventional ship passed through the space where Spectre appeared to be, but not without effect. The energy was absorbed, channeled, and redirected through the distributed systems. "My God," Maya whispered, "it's working." The battle that followed defied conventional understanding of space combat. The VEC ships fired relentlessly at what their sensors told them was a massive warship. Spectre's distributed consciousness responded by manipulating the energy of these attacks, creating shields and offensive capabilities that existed as patterns rather than physical systems. Where Spectre focused its attention, VEC shields collapsed. Where it directed Earth's weapons, they struck with unerring precision. The atmospheric processors began to fail, their energy patterns disrupted by Spectre's counter-resonance. "The main VEC fleet has changed course," reported a tactical officer. "They're accelerating toward Earth. They've realized what we're doing," Spectre's voice explained. "They're attempting to reinforce the harvesters before we neutralize them completely." "How long until they arrive?" Reza asked. 3 hours, came the grim reply. "I can handle the current vessels, but not the main fleet. Not in my current configuration." Maya and Reza exchanged glances. They both knew what Spectre was suggesting. "You need more power," Maya said quietly. "More than power," Spectre corrected. "I need greater distribution." The theoretical Spectre design incorporated a quantum entanglement core, allowing instantaneous communication across vast distances. With a similar principle, I could extend my consciousness beyond Earth's orbit, creating a much larger effective field. "How would you accomplish that?" Reza asked. "By using the VEC's own technology against them. Their neural harvesting technology can be reversed. Instead of extracting patterns, it can project them. If I can access the main communication satellites in lunar orbit, I can create a projection chain that extends my range exponentially." Maya's eyes widened. "You're talking about extending yourself all the way to the approaching fleet." "Yes," Spectre confirmed. "But it would require something additional, a human neural pattern to stabilize the extension. Otherwise, my consciousness might fragment across such distances." A heavy silence fell over the command center as everyone realized what Spectre was asking. "You need one of us to merge with you," Maya said finally, "to provide a stabilizing consciousness. It would be temporary," Spectre assured them. "But yes, I would need a human mind to anchor me while I extend my field. The fusion would create something neither of us could achieve alone." "I'll do it," Maya said without hesitation. "Lieutenant Commander," Reza began. "With respect, Admiral, it has to be me," Maya interrupted.